Earlier on this week, which is what's the week now, date is in, on the 16th of August 2021, a broker sold, it's on the 16th, Monday or Tuesday, this week. This week anyway, right? A broker sold a website address for $2.5 million, yeah, which is about 1.8 million. Now, I've just seen another. It's just the same broker. It's just mentioned they've just sold another domain name, and that is for $1,150,000, which is about 750,000 quid, right? If it's in the same week, that's not bad. That's nearly just over £3.5 million of $3.5 million of domain names in just 2 sales. When is the traditional society going to wake up and realise that they've got to start recognising digital assets as digital collateral? But if this is if this is good, if this there's another one. There's what was the first one was industry sector keyword.com. That's the $2.5 million one. And then the same brokers just sold this as a 4letter.com. Yeah, it's a word that everyone knows. 4letter.com for $1.1 million, $1.150 million. And then another broker is just going to sold another 4letter.com for $500,000 in the States. And then you have to look at UK estate agents' websites, right, yeah, or their adverts, and you'll see this house is 350,000 and that is 500,000. But you can't use a domain name. But if you sell the domain name, you can buy 3 or 4 houses for cash, that mortgage. This is where we are. Crypto. The people that made the biggest money in crypto, or will make the biggest money in crypto, are those that took a punt, who may have had £100 spare in 2010, may have had £1,000 spare in 2010, when Bitcoin was about 4p each. You think £1,000 in Bitcoin? Just take a punt, and just someone said, "Yeah, this could be something we don't know yet, but it might be worth a gamble." A punt, right? Back in 2010, right? I'm not saying don't gamble, but back in 2010, those that took a punt and bought Bitcoin when it was about 4p each, you think a pound, 4p, 10 Bitcoin for 40 pence, right? 100 Bitcoin for £4, right? Then work out how many Bitcoins in £1,000, right? And it's now about 33 grand or whatever it is at now, a Bitcoin, less than about 11 years later, right? There's people now walking down the street who have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, multi-millionaires, all because they put 100 quid or 1,000 quid into Bitcoin 10 or 11 years ago. Because you don't need, but no financial advisor would have said to you, a person in 2010, put £1,000 in Bitcoin. Because it's not sound financial advice. It's a punt, nothing more than a punt. Basically you lose a lot, or you make a few quid. As it happens, those that did made it a fortune. But it wouldn't be, banks want a guaranteed return on their investment. Bitcoin investment back then would not have produced a guaranteed investment. And even then, you could have bought 1,000 Bitcoin in 2010. You couldn't have sold it the same day because there was no liquidation, no one understood what it is, and people still, in 2021, still don't understand Bitcoin, many people. The same is true with domain names. Domain names have been about for 36 years, or for longer than that. But have been bought for 36 years. But there's no liquid. There's still the liquidation of domain names is only amongst those that understand the value, which is big business and brokers, investors. But outside of that, brokers, domain name registrars, big business companies, billion dollar cut. But outside of that, most people haven't got a clue about what domain names are worth. But there'll be a time when they do, and you'll see people walking down the street with domain name portfolios. They can't afford a car because they can't liquidate. They can't afford a house because they can't liquidate. And there'll probably be a city on domain names worth a few quid. They might have had to live in a car before now. I don't know. I don't know what my domains are worth, but I've got an idea. But when I start seeing GTLDs selling for £6,000, £10,000, £15,000, and I've got a few GTLDs, I must be sitting on something. I don't know what though. My current portfolio, it's got a value. Right? It's independently valued at a certain price. I couldn't afford to buy a bus ticket because I can't liquidate digital, intangible, illiquid assets into traditional cash. But that's the digital economy not being able to liquidate from traditional economy. But once they do, the digital economy doesn't need the traditional economy, and then we've got proper problems. And there you go. But that's so that's basically another domain name was sold for $1 million plus. And it looks like the same brokers brokered $2 million domain names within the same week. It looks like it's in the same week. And there you go. So this means, this will be on the next fortnight, because the fortnight's just gone on Thursday, last night, for the DNJ listing, right, yeah? Which, for the 6th fortnight in a row, a website address has sold for $1 million plus. For 6 fortnights in a row, a different website address has sold for $1 million plus. Now this one here is past the Thursday night, because it's now Friday. So that was actually Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, which was yesterday. So this is now a new fortnight, which means now this one that's just sold, if it's just sold just now, will be on the 7th fortnight, consecutive fortnight, where a website address would have sold for $1 million plus. And that's just the ones that the seller and the buyer and the broker agree that the price can be made known. But there's so many private sales when domain names, big money domain name sales, where it's a private sale, where the buyer or the seller doesn't want the price to be known of the sale, even though it's a big money sale. So they sign they usually sign a non-disclosure agreement with the broker, which means the broker can say it's sold and they can give a price range, but they can't mention the price or the person that bought or sold the domain name or the exact price that it was sold for. But eventually, well, it happens, but yeah. But that's just a bit about domain names, yeah. So basically that's where we are. And I've got to do something, that's right, I've got to find a job now for about £9 an hour. Whilst I need a domain name portfolio that would buy a van to live in. And probably not need to work again, but until such times as domains sell, I'm looking for work for £9 an hour, £10 an hour. Adios. Oh yeah, I'm watching my swing trading options. Plummet at the moment. But there we go. Good fun.